Chapter 2. Owning produce. Ship arriving 12 hours. Giving them 4. The message on Cal's terminal from Orbis. It'll still be dark, Cal said as he calculated. If it's the same crew, they'll wait till dawn, Mia said. You old folks might need an early night, Kyra said. I'm not old, Mia said. I feel old. Cal was ready to follow Kyra's advice. His personal terminal did beep before dawn, the same captain and pilot that had delivered the last 2 freighters, and they were indeed going to wait until the sun was up before they landed. This was another very large freighter. Certainly old, but still looking like it had been cared for a little. In the cavernous hold was the balance of the interior of the thruster refurbishing business, and that also included some partly dismantled thrusters. Took us forever to load it all up, the captain said as everyone stood before a floor littered with metal bits and pieces. We earned our pay on that job, the pilot added. Then before we left, the boss said he had another one to go and maybe another one after that. You'll soon have more ships than the Imperial fleet. Did he say what sort of ships? Mia asked. You don't know. We only get told just before they arrive. I know one was going to be an old passenger cruiser, and the other was a freighter, but I think there is a delay with the contents. I hope it's more tools, Kira said keenly. I hope they're not as heavy as these, the pilot said. This was the 3rd time Cal and crew had transported the ferry captain and pilot to their base, so everyone knew what was happening. With the 2 passengers delivered and the Sea Stallion on the way up into orbit, Cal offered a new idea. I think we should visit specialist produce handlers and see if our pods are ready, then maybe we can return with a full ship of freight. I think they're nearby. If you call an hour in ether space near, Mia said as she studied her maps. We want to see, Kira said. We want to see if they got our logo right, Kyra added. Maybe I want to see too, Mia said. Change of course set now. Blast off when ready, Cal said. Specialist produce handlers had their own landing area, and the Sea Stallion nestled down amongst a line of ships, mainly freighters, but 2 small personal machines as well. Cal prepared the power rods needed for payment. We'll carry them, Kyra said. Junior partners need to do important jobs. Cal shook his head and Mia chuckled behind her hand. A large sign saying dispatch pointed the way, and even Mia wanted to come this time. Let me guess, a uniformed man said toward Cal as they approached. Order for Stallion. Great service, Cal said. Matching uniforms, the man, who had to be a god, said. We don't see many eye-blinding bright pods. We must have chosen the best color, Kira said. Can we see? Kyra added. Health and safety. You can't go into the store, but once the papers are done, they'll be brought out for you. Who's handling your order? The president, Cal said. I have to call him. Cal held up the contact details on his terminal. Royalty. Must be a special order, all right, even I don't know his contact. You better wait in the showroom, it's through that doorway. There were no orange pods in the showroom, only those painted in safe drab colors, but it was not the pods that had the attention. The center of the large room was set up as the heart of a produce shop, but not a common old shop. Every display unit had an eye-catching hollow display above it. Images of fruits tumbling down. One display had colorful melons splitting into slices then arranging themselves into a table-ready display. There was even a juice dispenser where above each outlet was a hollow sign of the particular fruit being wrung and the juice dripping down into the dispenser. Just watching the sign was almost better than drinking the juice. You're looking at the future of produce retailing, a very well-dressed man said from the distance. Cal recognized the man's face from the terminal call with Orbis. I can see from your uniforms that you are familiar with the power of branding. This is the best, Kira said. We want it even without the fruit, Kyra added. And it can be yours within a week. Customized to your name and branding and ready to add value to your operation. We've still got to set that up, Mia said, facing the man. You've come at the right time then. Still time to make sure you have the latest and the best. What are your present plans? I know you've got transport and storage pods, and some shop cabinets too. We're still working it out, Cal said. Sort of planning on beginning small and see how things grow. Well, you've got enough pods to support a big operation, so I thought you planned a big outfit. He always dreams big, Mia said, touching Cal's side. And somehow it seems to work out. Take it from one who has seen many businesses start and fail that there are only two ways to last in the produce business. Start small and stay small, or open huge and stay huge. There's nothing else that works for long. If you stay small, you attract a regular group of customers. You get to know their names and what they like. That business is like a big extended family. Predictable and guaranteed. To expand beyond that, most get a bigger shop, but then you have more shelves to keep full, and those customers that were like your family think you're too big for them. Then they begin to shop elsewhere, and the extra customers you hoped for only call once or twice. You're left with much higher costs and more spoilage for even less income than before. I've never seen even one trader that lasted after doing that. The bazaar is big, Kira said. Big area, but a lot of small traders all competing. They know their credits come from their regular customers and the excitement of the other traders around. They all sell the same produce and usually at the same price. It's knowing your customer that keeps them alive. Stay small and be with other small traders, Cal said. It works well, if that's the limit of your dream. It's not his, Mia said. Well, that leaves only one way to a winning business: own the whole business for an area. Be so big that no one else can compete. Don't worry about keeping regular customers. Make your business so attractive that people have to come to see what is new and exciting. Own produce for your whole planet. And no need to stop there. Own produce in every planet you choose. Become known as Mr. Produce. Why don't you do it yourself? Mia asked. I own produce handling. You found me because there is no one else that has the best. You need to do the same for whatever you choose. There was silence a time, then the man continued, I've told this to many other potential traders, but none have listened. It takes a special man to risk everything for a dream. Easier to stay in a small box and imagine you will end up a success with more hard work, but it's not only hard work that's needed. It's seeing a dream in front of you, and making it happen. Not one day. Not next year. Not when business improves. But today. I can see his mind working, Mia said when Cal was silent. Us junior business partners think it best we go big, Kira said. You know we'll help, Kyra added. You got this far with more front than anyone else that's came here. Maybe I'll accept unconventional payment for a setup like this, the man's arms sweeping over the display. Your success will also be my success. Once people see these displays in your shop, they'll want them in theirs, and I'll need to design even better ones for you so you stay ahead. We'll both grow together. I appreciate your advice. It's been the best advice I've heard, and it fits closely with my ideas, but there are so many things to work out. We're still working out how we make our warehouse to leave these pods we're picking up now. A couple of days to think, and I'd like to talk to you again. Do you think if we made a big enough shop we could draw people to it even if it is away from others? If you can make it so interesting in some way. A place people want to explore. More than just a shop. Like the carnival, Kyra yelled out. So many people went to that. They had that huge hollow sign you could see from orbit, Kira said. We could have one too. Providing the planet government allow a sign like that, but the carnival is a good example, even though it's been a long time since I saw one. Maybe we need some extra attractions alongside us, Mia said. The octopus, the twins said together. We don't want our customers sick, Mia said. There are plenty of opportunities and ideas to think. How much are you taking this trip? 6 pods and leaving 6 rods and 2 L84s, Cal said. The twins have the payment for you to check. Back to business now. There was no doubt they were theirs when the new pods were pushed from the warehouse, the bright orange frame with the image of a black rearing horse in a white circle, and curved around, the words Stallion produce. It's perfect, Kira yelled. We won't lose them, Mia said. Everyone will know they're ours. If you want to wait back with the god, he'll help with the balance of your order when you return. The sight of the manufacturer's staff moving the orange pods toward their ship filled Cal with pride. The enthusiastic yelling of the twins added to it, and these pods were the most carefully handled freight they had ever had in the Sea Stallion's hold. To our land, Cal said when everything was loaded and the hatches closed. Then his terminal beeped. Need 2 boxes of ore samples picked up urgent. We'll wait at office for you. Orbis. He's never been so open before, Cal said as he messaged his agreement. That might be for the Imperial spies to read, Kira said. He thinks like a real secret pirate, Kira added. An hour or so, Mia said. We'll go gentle so we don't scratch the freight. All crew to stations. Blast off when ready. The area around Orbis's main building looked mainly as it looked last visit. 2 small mining ships parked by the main door, and Orbis himself walking toward them, carrying a box between both his hands, and behind him, Jeff doing the same. Cal had the freight ramp down quickly, and the 2 laden men dropped their load on the floor of the freight hold. Some more inside to come to. These 2 to stay here to be found if you are ever searched, and the other boxes to come are to be well hidden. These in my small freight box, Cal said. Secure, but accessible if needed. Your new pods, Orbis said, a hand out to feel the metal. Looks good. No produce yet, so maybe we can put things in them and forget they are there, Cal said. The twins will make sure they are locked securely. How's the lad? Like magic, Jeff said. Complete new lease on life. The same couldn't be said about Orbis, his eyes baggy and dark and his head mainly down. The freight to be hidden was hardly half a pod worth, and even though he wasn't told, Cal was sure it was mainly expensive fuel rods and small, high-value ship parts. Remember, I'm only a customer you move a little freight for, Orbis said when they were all ready to move. They all will remember, Cal said. It's part of doing secretive pirate work. We do that best, Kira said, Kira nodding. There was a subdued atmosphere during the ride up into orbit. Maybe we should go back to the bazaar and take Mr. Slee with us to our land and heal his other leg while we sort out some of our freight. Stay there while he recovers, Mia confirmed. Him and us too, Cal said. Rather at our own land than in the parking lot of the bazaar. We agree, the twins said together. You message him to get him ready, Mia said. Couple of hours. Cal sent the message before they slipped into ether space, but the Sea Stallion was parked in the bazaar before he got a reply. I'm managing. Cal called to arrange to pick up his agent from the back entrance of the bazaar, and the whole crew were ready to help Mr. Slee to their ship. Flying I not liking, the man said, but he had 3 women saying there was nothing to worry about, and they would look after him. He was eventually settled into the spare chair alongside Kira, with Mia promising she would only drive very gently, and true to her word, she made the thruster only trip as though they were still on the ground. Knee repairing now, Mia said. We're here until you recover. While the women attended to the automedic, Cal walked around outside trying to find somewhere safe to leave the 6 new pods. There was definitely no spare space inside the 3 old ships parked around. The best idea he had was to line the pods alongside one of the ships where they would be sort of hidden from sight by the nearby ship. It wasn't perfect, and he really didn't want to leave these magnificent pods outside and obvious to anyone that came snooping. They really needed someone living here now to act as security, and he was going to park here himself now, rather than the bazaar. Having the pods so close had him itching to use them for real, but he didn't have enough credits to buy the contents of even one pod. And if he got produce, what would he get, and where would he sell it? The feeling that he had bitten off more than he could chew was strong. Things had just snowballed so quickly. Too many decisions with no real planning and thought. Life was so much easier before he had the ship, Sure, he had worries, and really he had no spare credits then either, but a rented room and not much else. Food from the credit in a slot auto kitchen or the diner down the street. Usually the latter, because the auto kitchen was set to rapport levels, and at least at the diner there were other people in the same position as him to say good day to. And that diner needed produce. And so did the one down the street a bit further he sometimes visited to vary his diet. No one he knew had transport to even visit the bazaar, and the few shops around all had prices that few could afford. And there it was. The business he had been searching for. Right in front of his face all the time. His mind raced with possibilities, and he desperately wanted someone to tell. Someone to say it wouldn't work. Someone to say he was crazy to think like that. Anything to slow the wound-up spring that was bursting to unleash inside him. He wouldn't own the whole produce business of this planet. No. He would not be greedy. But he would corner a part of that business. He would own the produce supply business to the poorer group of town. And since that was really the biggest group, in a way he would come to own the whole planet. And why stop at one? When Mr. Slee was finished in the automedic, Cal was ready to help move him to the bed in the spare room. Then it was time to move the new pods to their temporary store spot, the twins making certain the pod doors were all securely locked with a code that would be difficult for anyone to guess. Then to be sure, Cal and the girls looked through the whole ship for anything that had been left from Orbis, and that included the boxes of fuel rods left to pay for incoming ships. All that he hid in the 3 old ships, on the basis that no one would think these old vessels had anything of great value inside. One last sweep through the sea Stallion to be sure, and the only things of Orbis's were the 2 boxes he wanted left. "You expecting trouble?" Mia said when she saw. "Pirates always hide their booty," Kira said. "It's safer that way," Kyra added. "Orbis was very worried," Cal said. "I want to be sure we're safe." Mr. Slee's terminal beeped while he was recovering, and when he was awake he read it. "Giving working they doing. 5 pods. 2 pickups. 400 only," he said, looking around still a bit dazed. "He has to stay laying for 6 more hours," Mia said sternly. "He can lie while we pick up the empty pods," Kira said. "That's still not moving." "And you fly so gently," Kyra said smoothly to Mia. Mia grumbled. "Maybe we could pick up. But only pick up. Telling job now we doing. Details waiting. If you tell us now to blast off, you can stay here and watch the patient," Kira said to Cal. "Us official spaceship engineers have flying to do," Kyra said. "I suppose I better do my important captain job then," Cal said. "Blast off when ready." Mia was shaking her head when she went after the girls. "Great family you having," Mr. Slee said to Cal. Then he worked on his terminal some more, and when he received the acknowledgement, transferred the job details to Cal's terminal. They were nearly landed at the bazaar then, so soon there were girls ready to collect pods. "Mia will watch you now," Kira said. "We have our junior business owner job to do now," Kyra added. It was dark outside when Cal and the twins went to collect 5 empty pods. That part of the job so familiar it was easy. The ship hold soon full and the ramp closed and locked. "It's only 10 minutes in ether space," Kyra said. "Our patient would still be lying if we put him in the bed in the control room," Kyra added. "He doesn't like flying," Mia said. "But he'll like your smooth flying though," Kira said, her sister nodding. "And he would get to see where we go," Kyra added. Mr. Slee looked around. "Maybe. See. We can go now. You can help Cal carry him while we make the bed ready." Mr. Slee didn't protest as Mia helped Cal carry their patient through the ship and got him lying on the main bed at the back of the control room. "Engineers ready for space," Kira said when everyone was standing around looking what to do next. "I'll do shields today." "You know the way to Lazy Days 7, Kyra said to Mia. "You sure you'll be good?" Mia said to Mr. Slee. He nodded a little and everyone saw. "Hatch is locked," Cal said. "Blast off when ready." Mia was never going to let this be a fast trip, her sedate ascent into orbit and then waiting until they were fully into an approved orbit proof of that. Preparing for ether space, she called, turning back to check on the patient. Might be a bit of loud humming. Then, with a lot of loud humming, the sea stallion was speeding toward their first pickup. Not dying yet, I doing, Mr. Slee said when the hum stopped and they were silently orbiting around a new planet. Mia might tilt the ship so you can see how pretty this planet is out the window, Cal said. With that, the planet came into sight through the viewport. Not brown like Grand Bazaar. Mia left the ship in orbit while she came to check on her patient. Fussing too much, he protested, but it didn't stop Mia checking he was still good. 3 pods we getting now. You're getting nothing, Mia said firmly. Lying only for 5 more hours. Maybe snack getting. We'll get you a fresh snack, Kyra said. They always give us free snacks, Kira added. We like them here. 3 empty pods taken from the ship and 3 full ones returned. We got some purple pipless hand fruit for you, Kira said when she came into the control room. They're good, Kyra insisted. We tested them to make sure. Looking like finger, Mr. Slee said when he had 2 thrust toward him. Tasting better than looking, I hoping. 2 pods of mixed vegetables at Araqued, and the sea stallion was on its way back to Grand Bazaar and then stopped on the parking area of the bazaar where they all stayed in the control room. Mia kept insisting their patient had another 2 3/4 hours of rest before he stood, so Cal thought it a good time to get opinions. I'd like to tell you all about a business idea that's been on my thoughts. A huge shop with carnival around it, Kira suggested. No, Kyra said. A huge carnival with shop around it. Nothing like that. Well, not for now. I've been remembering how things were before I got this ship. Like most people, I was only renting a room a long distance from the bazaar. The rent was high, and the only produce nearby was from the auto kitchen. The prices were impossibly high, so most people went to the diner. There was one quite close, and another a block further. They were cheaper and a good place to at least talk to other people around. With the cost of rent and meals, it was hard to save anything. I don't know how people with children survived. The idea of a visit to the bazaar was out of the question. Remembering boy I was. Before you borning. Different planet, but poor being too. Only shopping man pushing barrow. Buying only 1 vegetable possible. Lucky growing ourself we could. Not like here. Can you teach us to grow things here? Kira asked excitedly. No water. Growing not without water. Grand Bazaar is strange for a planet, Cal continued. Everything grew around the bazaar, so there is only one city, and it spreads out forever. Those close to the middle have good jobs and plenty of credits, but most of the people here, those further out from the bazaar, struggle for work and credits, and those people are our customers. All those people need to eat. Not fancy high-priced goods, but good quality and fair-priced produce. The sort of produce they need every day. Not fancy things for only special occasions. I like where you're going with this, Mia said. First we look to supply all the hundreds of diners throughout the city. Then maybe we find people that want to set up small shops, even like your barrows, Cal nodded toward Mr. Slee. We set up a wide and solid base of business before we think of trying a big shop of our own. A solid base to support a huge new business for those people that have the credits to pay us the most. We have a lot of what we need to begin. We have a source of produce. We have the bulk transport and pods. We have a warehouse base here. We have someone to handle taking the orders and organizing the packing. Next, all we need is local transport and drivers to do the deliveries. Much working needing, Mr. Slee said. But liking idea much too. Enjoying helping I being doing. I like it too, Mia said looking Cal in the eye. I'm proud to stand alongside a man that thinks of people like that. But we do get our carnival later still, don't we? Kira asked. You do, Cal said. And it will happen quicker than you think too. Your offer of work still open? The message from Jeff on Cal's terminal interrupted discussions of how they would distribute throughout the city. Cal answered immediately, certainly. When do you want us to collect you and your family? The reply said between 1 and 2 days. Exact time to be advised. That's our first delivery crew, Cal said when the others were explaining to Mr. Slee what was happening. They're going to live on one of these ships for now. Maybe say my doing. Would you really like it out there? Mia asked. Alone not being and rent not paying. Fruit me sampling. Life good being. We're going to have to make business happen quick to pay wages, Cal said. Wages no needing yet. Nothing spending I doing. Also knees costing 200,000 each I not paying yet. You will never pay. A gift for your help so far, Cal said firmly. You helped me with freight when no one else would, and I never forget that. And now you're helping me grow this business. We will make sure you are looked after. Mia waited to the exact minute before allowing Mr. Slee to move from the bed, then with her by his side, he was helped out the ship and toward the bazaar, the others controlling the pods. When Mr. Slee was safely settled in his office and the freight pods delivered and payment paid, Cal ordered them back to their own land to wait for whatever would happen next. The Sea Stallion Book 2. The Base at Grand Bazaar. A Space Adventure. By Mystic Alchemist. Copyright 2024 Mystic Alchemist. All rights reserved. Written in Australian English. This book is a work of fiction. Names, characters, places and incidents are either a product of the author's imagination or are used fictitiously. Any resemblance to actual people living or dead, events or locales is purely coincidental. Cover and text written and assembled by hand without use of artificial intelligence.